Welcome back to Dow Twang. I'm Dave. This is a quick follow-up from yesterday's video. The title yesterday of the lesson was something like Intro to Tracing Chord Tones in Blues, something like that, all right? So check that one out, and these two go together, all right? And I got a bunch of lessons today, but several people have asked me about this just in the last 24 hours after that little video. And the Twang's not a big channel, right? So, like, if, 3 people ask me the same question, it's like, okay, we need to, we need to help out with that or whatever, right? So, generally the questions were like, oh, this is cool. Like, I can see what's going on here and I can hear it and I want to get into this, but can you just kind of, talk a little bit more, point out, how you're selecting these notes out of the chord. So here we go. Got a little loop like yesterday. Nothing fancy. And all the chords were in A, the 1, 4, and 5 chord, but they're all dominant 7th chords. Okay, which means they all consist of a major triad with a flat 7. So, not going to go through a lot of this arpeggio stuff today, but the warm-up would be right? That's important that you just have those arpeggios going, all right? So you're not going to get a lecture today about, that you got to do that, but you do. And you already know that, right? So, but along with that, let's look at the first bit of that intro and then we'll unpack it, use it as an example. And, that's about halfway through the 12 bars, but like everything that we're talking about conceptually here has already happened just in those few bars, right? So it makes sense to just kind of unpack that part. The first thing is a little triad. That's it. 3rd, 5th, 3rd root. But it sounds a little flat-footed, so we slide in to that 3rd. Each time, every time, part of the time. Double up on part of it. See, right there. You don't just copy that one out of a million versions of something like that and then go on to the next thing and, try to memorize it all today. Like, hang out right there. Went up and played the 6th there, like a major pentatonic. Get into that little area. So the thing I did, distinctly on the intro was then, and again, the notes are, right? I was smacking my pickup right there. So that's what that sound was. I won't do that again. Right? But again, we want some, put some ornaments on it. See, don't overthink this stuff. Are they scale tones? Are they? No. Going up to. Now, so far it's been a lot about the 3rd on the A. So I get back up to that root, and I just walk it down to the flat 7 of A. Now, you may have noticed that the loop goes to the 4 chord in the second measure. It goes, right? And you can address that more, more precisely by just going to that chord and coming back to the one. But a lot of times the pentatonic stuff will kind of fill through that part. All right. Don't worry about that too much. But just if you're wondering, like, well, why didn't you play a D something there? And we could go. Right. And then go back to the 4 chord in the 5th measure, measure 5. But okay, that sound, this is what you want to do. This is where you want to spend time. It's just hunting down that move. 3rd, root above it, flat 7. If there's a little ghost note in there, or a little rest that makes it kind of syncopated, that's, do your own thing. A lot of times I'll bounce it all the way back. Right? So there's a little practice routine right there just for each chord. See? That's D. I'm sliding into the 3rd, octave above, or root, not an octave above the 3rd, but like the root, D. Okay. Now, at different parts in a progression in like a country tune or a blues tune or something, those moves are more appropriate than in other parts and stuff. Don't worry about all that right now. Just get used to hearing the that flat 7 in relation to the root and the 3rd. See, there I did it. Yeah, you'll get it. Some of you all that asked me about this, that's my best advice is to if you really want to spend time and you're really serious about it, hunt those down. Okay, I'm going to take a dog bark break here because there's probably a package coming or something. I'll be right back. All right, it was dog food being delivered, ironically. So let's go back to our piece here. And even though we're not going like note for note through the whole thing, we're the whole thing, that one time around that I did in the intro, it features the same business. Okay, so far we got. Something like that. Okay, I'm adding a few things. It's different. I'm playing a little bit different than what's in the intro. That's okay. But I'm following the same path, right? And that's what I recommend that you do. So what just happened after the? Well, we ended up getting onto that flat 7 of that D, right? then that's where you hang out, right? You so the skateboard park or whatever, right? You go over to that one part, and you don't just do every trick. I mean, maybe you do if it's a competition, or if you're like, really got it down, you're really used to it. But you got to kind of investigate each part of that thing, right? Sometimes you got to keep going back to the same little part of that concrete or whatever. So this part where it goes, and that's one way that I can conceptualize, like going from chord to chord. That's the move from the 1 to the 4 chord. So now that I'm on the, I'm thinking like, all right, now I went back to the 1, right? So I just kind of did another octave of that A thing. Right? So that's between the 1 and the 4. That's where most of your work's going to take place with this, with the blues, right? And then the turnaround is kind of another move on your surfboard or skateboard or whatever, right? It's another little area. And one thing that's nice about it when it's a simple 1-4-5 version of the blues is that you can move your D business, or your 4 chord, the D in this case, just move it up. Any of that stuff's going to work on both. You want to finish it off if the last 2 beats of your final bar go back up to the 5 chord, like it often does, And you can just kind of aim for that root or something at the end of it. So this isn't covering every aspect of improvising over a 12-bar blues. It's specifically about getting those chord tones in there, and even more specifically the major third and the flat 7, and usually the roots involved in there. At the end of it that time, I went and did a little a little minor blues scale or whatever. So I think the routine on this, for those of you that are really wanting to kind of get started and get more comfortable hitting those chord tones, is to slide into the third, on pretty much everything. Little hiccup on where that loop turns around in there. It happens all the time. Does that make sense? I don't want to carry on too much about it, because that's what I just showed you, and kind of slowed it down and went through it a little bit part and parcel there. Should help you dig into the different parts of the skate park, right? But you're using the same basic theory each time. Third, flat 7, root. Let me know how this goes. We're going to keep working on this. It's so important, and it's so fun when this starts to really, start clicking for you. It kind of changes, gets you out of that completely pentatonic sounding improvisation that so many people speak to me about that they're getting, kind of worn out on or whatever. It's always going to be there. But to me, it's still the coolest part. But this other stuff helps you really make an arrangement out of your blues playing. All right? Hope it goes well. Let me know. See you next time.